Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cricket Podcast, episode 002, transmitting live from sunny California. I'm your host, Zeeshan Mahmud. It's actually not sunny, it's actually extremely gloom and drab and fucking dripping water, drizzling and raining right now. It's very cloudy, so I don't even know why I said sunny California. It's 1:11 p.m., April 7th, 2020. I don't know why I'm timestamping it. It's not as if someone's holding it. It's not as if I'm like being a hostage, being taken over and in a warehouse, and I'm gonna be murdered soon. And somehow this is my last podcast, and if I did timestamp, I'm just timestamping it just so the feds can somehow get a last shred of evidence and thread of clue to seal this whole damn goddamn case. No, so I don't know why I do that. It's like a log, I guess. So I'm gonna talk about something that is draconian, drastic, dangerous, disrespectful, or like I don't know what are some D words. And if you haven't guessed it already, it's drugs. Drugs in cricket, doping in cricket. Let's talk about that. I wanted to focus and zoom in with my ICBM in my neocortex on this specific topic. So I thought, why not just focus on one topic instead of rambling and bumbling about some different scatterbrained um, categories. So yeah, doping. Like imagine Chris Gale does like 3 lines of coke and just fucking goes straight out to bat. He'll like either he'll annihilate everyone, he'll literally annihilate everyone with his ball, throwing it helter skelter all over the fucking stadium, fucking killing everyone, babies and whatnot. I mean, and did you see the T20 match he just did? Um, that he played in Canada. Fucking, he's 40 years old and he scores like fucking 128 or something out of 54 balls or something. I'm not exactly sure if those are the right numbers. Don't quote me on that. My photographic memory is failing me today. So drugs in cricket, yeah. I mean, imagine because either you blast it out of the park, scoring like freaking gazillion 500 runs in T20, and like with like put the personal best of 300 in like freaking 15 overs and whatnot. I don't even think like a PED exists in that regard that where you can actually do those kind of things. But or either that or you'll just straight up fail because unless you can control it. It's kind of like the drunken master, like the skill ability. But obviously, kids who are listening, obviously, I'm anti-doping. I mean, thoroughly anti-dope. And I'm thoroughly for anti-doping, pro anti-doping in cricket. But we should be. I mean, we should actually talk about this. Is something that doesn't get so shelved under the PG-friendly uh, ambience of cricket. But yeah, I don't think even any performance like anything like they did this. I think Discovery Channel or something. This experiment where this guy gets like freaking shot with adrenaline, and it's not as if he does perform drastically better because you still have to control it. All these chemicals bubbling in your bloodstream and veins, boiling through the freaking cauldron of your nerve vessels. You still have to like control it. I mean, control it. So that also what talks that brings me to like if think of the natural ways to perform performance enhancing, like natural ways like breathing or qigong, or when you imagine if you can channel all the chi to up your you fucking open your third eye and kundalini and go out to bat, like I mean, cause if you that is that presupposes the assumption that you do believe in those things. Like imagine if there was some fusion of martial arts and cricket where you learn how to control your breath and chi, do meditate and just samurai and subconsciously, inadvertently, and without knowingly. I guess some people do that, like Hashim Amla, who's so clean and pure. Imagine some dirty secrets get out of Hashim Amla. He's like he does Kalud and he's like a method, secret method, and he's projecting this pious image of like fucking with the prayer rug under his oxter his arm. And anyways, I'm just kidding. Hashim Amla, if you're listening to me, what are the odds of Hashim Amla listening to me to this podcast and like fucking suing me for slander? That would be actually an honor. Actually, that would actually do. I mean, no, obviously we know he has no, yeah, he has no vice. So, and nowadays with more people smoking weed and dope, I mean, it's actually see the reason why I'm so anti-doping, I mean pro anti-doping, is because there's an allure to this idea of this godly heroic, this sort of this argonaut who can do these destructive miracles. I mean, and just impossible performances without the aid of any ingestion of any substance, psychedelic or not. That's another thing. So there's some allure to that. That's why there's some glory to that. And if you should be glorifying anything, that's the appeal that naturally you can be this Olympian, this impossible Chris Gale, master of the universe, or Virat Kohli or Bradman, and be this peak alpha of the alpha, like the highest point at the tip of the spear of the zenith. And you can be that reach that level of self-actualization. And this is by no means a sermon on against an anti-drug sermon, but yeah, that's for people like, even if we're dealing with sobriety issues, I mean, drinking and whatnot, whatever. Coffee, even if you want to kick some habit like coffee in the New Year's resolution, that's actually something you can look forward to, like what do you call that, proprioception, like you move towards like a heliotropic helio-seeking plant with the oxen, which always looks forward to the towards light, like a sunflower. That's actually like, or like some, I don't know, the underwater sea creatures who are not devoid of light. That's actually light in your life, to because, and that's the only one of those last remaining sacred sort of, what do you call the space? What is the one I'm trying to, word I'm looking for? This covenant, not covenant, not convent. The haven, the last save, like pious, not the last salvage of remaining salvaged of this 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 pious haven, where exists, where superhumans breed, and the gods, and like freaking, what's his name, Aquaman, exists in the Valhalla of the mankind, and in the cricket encyclopedia. And so yeah, because of that, thoroughly on, I mean, not thoroughly, solely because of that, yeah, I'm thoroughly against the drugs in cricket. But if you were to even enable PED, I mean, what would have done? Like the people who have been like by the book, good, sort of, so to speak, quote unquote, because that's another thing. Cricket, this whole with the British lineage and everything. And this is not, when I say British, I don't mean like in a pejorative way. I mean, because they still have this formal schoolboy grammar school, dressed up with ties and whatnot. And there is still the underlying imprint of that, the residual. But yeah, because still it's like, spirit of the game. We talk about noble sport, and there was the sport against the savages. So we are better because the savages are doing psychedelics and ayahuasca and whatnot in Peru. What do you call them? Napoleon Chagnon, Yanomamo tribes. Imagine if the Yanomamo tribes were to play cricket. Well, obviously they'll be like, if Yanomamo cricketer, he'll be like disqualified, DQ for having illegal substance in his stream. So no, that's one thing. I'm like, I don't know. Now I'm brainstorming, bitches, baby. Okay, so yeah, like that psychedelics entire different category. Something here, there are those stimulants, so PED, like some things you can get off your like vitamin supplement store, GNC here in America, and those I can thoroughly like transform you and like make you actually literally limitless. But the people who always shun those things, like either whether it be the amlas of the game or whatnot, those kind of people, or whether because of any belief, whether the personal philosophy or whatnot, if you shun PEDs, then you would always shun PEDs, and you'd avoid that route. And if you were to do like break some incredible record, like I don't know, 100 runs in like 30 balls or something, and under PED, yeah, I mean, whatever, who cares? It's not somehow. I don't think it dilutes or adulterates the game. Then people will be just more focused on what would be the maximum way to optimize the game, where you're the perfect beings, we are neurobiologically the perfect amount of dosage of milligrams of chemicals is running in the exact concoctions of composition, so that you're this which perform culminating and then this gelling to create this super being, and to like, and there are naturally people like those like Kohli and Gale. I mean, for instance, if they were to open, I mean, imagine the havoc they would wreak. And then number three, De Villiers at number three. Here, I'm not trying to rattle out a lineup or anything. I just thought of those three, and those are just three of the beasts in modern day cricket, the juggernauts. So, and who does it naturally? So hopefully, knock on wood. And yeah, and if you were to do that under PED, I mean, or like any other substance or method or methodology, meditation or whatever. I think what I'm trying to say is I'm more interested in the results than the process by which it is arrived. And what would it take to be in that ultimate super state of mind frame where you can just pull off miracles, basically, score, take every ball six, you were to hit six, and entertain me for a while if you may. So we got what, 50 times 6, 300 balls, freaking. So theoretically 50 over a game, you can actually fucking score what, 36 runs and over. You can score like over 100, what about what, 1800 theoretically, right? Imagine the audacity of doing that. Or somehow, if you can theoretically pull it off, but then that's why it'll be more complex and dynamic and fluid and like mind-bogglingly. It's like Escher-esque, Godelbach Escher-esque. How because the bowlers would also try to destroy you, like take zero for those are those opposite polar ends of the spectrum, the extremes, where the bowler wants like a zero for like 10 wickets for naught, without leaking a single run. That's the most ideal scenario you can think of. And for batsmen that would be the worst, and batsmen ideally want to hit every ball for six, because mathematically that's like what you want to optimize. So there'll be again this interplay, this duel, this back and forth, to and fro, back and forth, the game, or in phrase game. I don't know what I'm talking about, set theory, but or like that's not a set theory, that's model theory. The way I just said that is as if I'm an expert on model theory. Oh wow, the level of pretentiousness in me. Oh god, so irksome. Like you gotta give it to me. Like, yeah, you gotta give it to me, but oh shit. And I do that because being the narcissistic hedonist god I am, I can handle myself complimenting me like backhandedly, even in a sotto voce. Okay. And I'm just distracting myself because I don't know what I'm talking about. Because psychedelics, that's an entirely different department. Like that's another different ball game. So you got your top shelf weed, you got your fucking caffeine, the stimulants, coke, and fucking speed and whatnot, crystal, and then the psychedelics. I highly recommend everyone doing psychedelics and playing cricket, just so you'll just be more actualized, and I guess, and more controlled in center, and the game it'll be just better for the game. And psychedelics are entirely different. Those are insight meditational substance that you ingest and you go on a journey and whatnot. I never did any, but I can just imagine the possibilities. Or like even if weren't doing psychedelics but just doing sensory deprivation, dark chamber, cave meditation, keto, qigong, or yoga, like just natural. You're the Wim Hof of cricket. Imagine you're the Wim Hof of cricket. This that motherfucker went up like he climbed in his shorts. He literally just went out for a stroll in his shorts and climbed back and up and down fucking Everest like 3 times a day or what? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm exaggerating. And hyperbole aside, so if you were the Wim Hofs of cricket or the Navy SEALs, imagine the things you would pull off and how better the game would be, more complex and more full, rich. So in that regard, yeah, drugs are good. In the other regard, if you have some destructive habits like heroin, or I mean, God forbid, or fentanyl or whatnot, like fucking Molly shit, or like crocodile. If you're like someone who's slamming crocodile and yeah, we got a problem. But solely from the perspective of optimizing the highest possible scenario, and that's not the beauty of game. It's like a play. It's like a script, it's like a story. When you're watching, even the scorecards, if there are a book of massive mammoth book of scorecards, I wanted to print a book called Mammoth Book of Scorecards with like giant 1000 pages just soul scorecards, because it's just reading the notes or like choreographic patterns of a sheet of paper, because it's each play is literally a story. It's like a plot, and we talk about that in cricket. The heist and plot and whatnot, blueprint, score, this bank robbery blueprint, and yeah. So what I was saying, I ramble too much in Tristram Shandy's manner that I get so sidetracked in ancillary meandering sub threads that I don't even lose my train of thoughts. And here again, I just use the word I like 10 times in fucking 5 seconds. How pretentious can I get? Okay, so So yeah, you got your categories of performance PEDs or anything like even coffee from cigarette to whatever that makes you feel, or whatever gets you in the flow state. So yeah, we vilify PED like doping, and nowadays everyone's doing. That's another problem we got. Everyone doing fucking smoking weed and going out to practice in league cricket, and somehow they get dope tests, and some then we got our corrupt officials and whatnot. They get you, with a slap in the wrist and let you. Even in NFL and NBA, there are people out there who smoking weed and excuse me, and they know when they're gonna get tested. So they just circumvent the circuitous route. They go through the circuitous route. Even Olympians, because they just stop doing it. I guess some they can just stop doing it right before 2 months before Olympics starts. But then that's actually bad. You're gonna have horrible withdrawal syndrome, bro. I don't even know why would you like why not just let it go in the first place. So, but we all have our vices. We got our dependency problem and whatnot. But yeah. So imagine you do psychedelics, and then you have your own method, and you you're not like coke or anything, but like fucking we get you in this LeBron James like mind, and you kill it. So imagine how different the game would be. And that's another thing. We get bogged down in this whole nobility and noble issues. Like there should be spirit mankat and whatnot. But and also okay, as I was saying, so each game is like its own plot, its own script, and like there's so many variation nuances of it. Like you can have an exact game to the last detail of the last ball, and the scenario could be different. Where one thriller in the last ball, like a six is needed, and zero six is needed, and the guy gets, I don't know, he gets like freaking stamp. I got the stamp fever caught on from reading Facebook comments. The stumps get shattered, literally stumps get broken. Or you could have another scenario: seven runnings written and needed in last ball, and somehow no ball happens, and someone hits a six. So and just that's just the difference of only two balls, and then you get all sort of variations and permutations and whatnot, and that results in more complex, more game. Where I don't think we can reach a point where AI will be like either can predict and take over with all the variables of the game, Laplacian variables, and but yeah, I think so. It's not even drugs, like any performance enhancing thing that you can think of, like whether, and some people like the Indian, especially the Indian ones, they have superstitions, and that's another sort of like ritual, I guess, to get into or Steve Waugh and whatnot, to get into ritual of this into this flow state. So whatever works, I guess, but. So I thought I was going to talk about PED, but there's not really much to talk about PED, other than the fact which actually what about natural supplements that actually helps, like I mean huperzine probably, or like I don't know, rhodiola, or like even if you make your own stack, and because then people will say why get you might get dependent on it, but then what about life? You have to shit every day, you have to eat every day, you're dependent on your own fucking lifestyle. Imagine if you were imagine you had to say you can't shit anymore. Shitting is PED, and if you're shitting, you'd be dependent on something else. I mean, how absurd! What absurdism is that? The theatered absurd world we'll be living in. I mean, yeah. Theoretically, logically, that makes sense. So even if you're drinking coffee and whatnot, Red Bull sucks actually. You try Red Line, and you get into the zone, and you do all this. But I don't think at the end of the day it would matter anymore, because you still there's so many other variables, like were you eating right, were you sleeping right, are you in a positive frame of mind? I mean, what was your self talk, and the psychology is another thing. The sports psychology, that's another fascinating part of the game. I mean, and it's emphasized in Olympics actually more with the visualization, simulation. So yeah, back to the AI. Imagine could AI simulate a game like where it controls all the shots? Like there's the holograms, and you go out to bed, and those holograms are the sort of this VR simulation. You play like the Brian Lara's cricket, and AI always gets to win, no matter what. I don't care. And you translate that, extrapolate that, and translate on the cricket field. You realize if somehow the whole cricket, like a physical cricket field, were to be dominated, pulled by the livers of and pulleys of cricket like an AI being, would we have what I'm trying to say? Would you have the Houdinis, the stock fishes, those artificial engines of chess? Would we have the equivalent of that in cricket? That's the thing to ponder. And even your diet and health. So psychology is another under under stressed aspect in cricket for sports psychology. Um, and accelerated learning, what gets you, because each people is different and you shouldn't overcoach people. That's another thing. And being with my Bangladesh bias, the what's his name, Stonier, Richard Stonier, I think he's just a physio, really. But the amount of influence and impact he had just being a physio of an under 19 team, that was mind-blowing, and much respect to him. Like, I mean, that just shows that you can be, you don't know who has that. I mean, even a pitch curator or like but that would be like unfair if a pitch curator were to favor you. Yeah, so the groundsman, that's, yeah, if, you don't never know the influence. And imagine you multiply exponentially collectively into the stadium where everyone is basically against you, actually. I mean, in the sense, in the theoretic sense that they want you to fail and they want their home team to cheer and jeer you, and and they're shitting on you whenever you fail. How much of a dominant psychological force that can be to reckon with. And we use in Bangladesh, we actually use that magnificent because we're so hungry and as cricket mad country, and especially on those New Zealand patch where we demolished them at home like 2 times. That was the point where we didn't know Bangladesh was a good team or not. There was this sort of this underdog factor involved. Like, yeah, Bangladesh is good, yeah, but to like complete obliterate a team, and that showed the Kurd, the lion heart, the Kurd suck the Kurd. What the hell am I saying? Sacred heart? What the fuck am I talking about? I don't know. Richard the Lionheart. How would you say Richard the Lionheart in French? Richard the Sacre Bleu. I don't know. Why would I want to talk about Lionheart? Oh God, I don't even know why I want to talk about Lionheart. Yeah, so we use that magnificently against other teams and dominate psychology. And nowadays, England or Australia or any other team, South Africa, like Pakistan, even India, even India, you never know if India will have, other than tests. We suck at tests, but because and simply again because the presence is not there. There is you have to acknowledge the crowd factor, and it's more nowhere more prominent and prevalent is other than is in US games or the home court advantage, but that is also under stressed in cricket. So imagine when when you're in this, and imagine if everyone is in this total flow state. This, and that's what sometimes really happens in a tense thriller, was everyone's in the peak, and that's when the beauty starts. Like there's good, as we say, good cricket all around. You hit a ball, this one smashes it, then someone just dives and grabs the ball, grabs the ball. You can even want to use the word grab right nowadays, right now. You grab the ball, fucking throw it with the left hand, non-dominant hand, and just like John T.S. style, just you shatter the stumps, and but he makes it in about, but you don't know, he just slides right in, and it's a 50-50, and the green light or red light, and somehow some motherfucker probably presses the wrong button and it's out, but he pressed not out. So you have this drama and the soap opera and whatnot, and that's the cricket at its best. And obviously sometimes it's just God, if you believe in like the external force, or like that's another philosophical thing. Are they determined? Had some, like, does God play dice? He did, let's just let this world universe just unfurl and just play its own game, or was every minute detail to the sand and the particle on the bale, everything was choreographed, planned like fucking like eons ago? That is, if you believe. Yeah, and what I mean by eons ago, probably he didn't have to do eons ago because space time doesn't exist. Space time exists only in space time dimension. So what I'm talking about. So yeah. uh, so you get that. When everything comes together, you have good cricket all around. The fielding, bowling, and probably the bowler also cracked like 150 and whatnot. So, and that's good cricket all around. You see that sometimes volleyball, but that's because it's so more multiplayer-ish than cricket, where you're like one man against 11. In volleyball, you've seen the Olympics where like and it's all good sportsmanship all around, and you sometimes you applaud other teams, like, and that's we get that in cricket, like we give when someone like destroys us like 800 runs in like three balls or something, like the Shane Watson did in Mirpur, and he should have gotten like guard of honor, not a guard of honor, like acknowledgement, and I think we do that, like, and we get that, we're starting to get that too, like I think Leeton probably, when Leeton like destroyed recently, I wonder if every Zimbabwean player came and shook his hand. But that's the beauty of the sport. So yeah, I share on the nobility aspect, but the real nobility, the true spirit of the game, the soccer cars of the game. How do you say spirit? Esprit de esprit. Why am I trying to even spit in French anyways? It's like I should do a French commentary podcast in French. So when you have that with that perfect spirit, that's I think is the ultimate spirit of the game, where you have this mutual respect for the, and that is, that's not even fake, that's more genuine, as because we only see, it's an entertainment, we only see what's on the screen, but it's just a like, literally it's just like a 10 by 6 inch or whatever, misrepresentation, and oftentimes misrepresentation of what's really going on. And there's so much. The players all know each other. They laugh. And we only just get to see only a little bit behind not the real behind the scenes. But you have to take the bus. You have to go to the nets, and so it's all sexy, like when you see there's being this cricket, you score like what 180 and like 60 balls or whatnot, but the journey, real journey, is not as glorious and sexy as we might paint it. It's incredibly hard work that those bitchy, we have to do, those bitches of the world, like we have to just go to nets every day, rain or shine, do the stretching, do those boring chores, and you get to the level, and that's also part of like this enabling the flow state, kind of like the UFC or a fighter. He trains and he does all these boring chores and lifts weight and whatnot, and and that's one aspect that's again under stressed in cricket, like, and that's why we have so many young players get disheartened, that and players like me, like, not players, like guys like me, get disheartened, but not everyone can be fucking Navy SEAL. Sorry, David Goggins, if you're on a respirator at 90 years old, obviously you're not gonna pass buds. You're not gonna pass buds, but the seed is there, the potential is there for anyone, even, well, I mean, yeah, Chris Gayle, he was just 40 and he just slammed 128 or something. Sorry about that. That's the level of our production quality. We get we have divine intervention right now. Sorry about that. But hey, that's more thrilling. The reality aspect of the podcast feel. Ooh, edgy. So, oh, shut up. So yeah, we so what I was saying, so I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I mean, what I'm trying to say, I guess the common underlying theme is the under stress factors of the cricket. We got PED, sports psychology, performance enhancement, and that's another thing. Imagine you got your Morihei Oshiba senses of the world, the founder of Aikido, who could apparently dodge bullets when you fire at him, shoot him with the rifle. So when you get to the supernatural state, and actually it almost comes to, I mean, yeah. So what I was trying to say, like, wanted to say at one point was, for some people it happens like very automatically. They internalized it, whatever you, Chris Gayle or Virat Kohli, Steve Watt doing your ritual or whatnot, Sachin going to your this puja, doing puja, like you all internalize, like best what gets you going. You don't follow other people's advice or the blueprint or the structure, and you follow, and there is a structure, yeah, trust me, and you do that. But as a coach, you shouldn't overdo it and just kill the whole process. I mean, I was listening to another podcast where the England, for the one of the defining factors, I guess, was the bonding when the English team, where they would just be on their own, and the coach would just, I guess, like his day off, because it's hard to actually understand what the British are saying. They got their funny accent. And who am I to talk? Yeah, look at me making fun of the British people accent, apparently the inventor of England. But again, I said apparently because you got your Elfricks and freaking Beowulf type of Middle Age English, Old Middle English, where it's all freaking indecipherable. So yeah, English is like not as prim and prissy that we might like it to be. You understand? You hear me? You feel me, bro? You feel me, bitch? Nigga. Uh, so yeah, these actually have more influence in the cricket game, these factors, these PEDs, and there are people doing PEDs and they get busted, and but why would you want to do it? I mean, if you're in that state of mind where you think you need to do PED just to get into a good supreme psychological state, maybe you have some other shit to worry about, bro. Yeah. And mental illness probably is another thing that probably we don't know, because there will come at times where you'll just break down. You get boring. I mean, even if the shit I'm doing right now, this if I do this for like every day for like fucking 8,000 years, I'll fucking hate it. Yeah, I mean, and that's the balance you want to create if you want to have. Tommy Meegball talks about his personal goals, and I think he has some goal chart, goal chart or something. Yeah, I would be surprised, and that's good, admirable. But so yeah, you want to actually, you should, every player should have their own like sort of things that wanna, the fantasy, the image they want to live up to, this uber potential of ubermensch. And because then, and it's all cultivation. Even with podcasts, like I think I'm just gonna talk about just focus solely on cricket. I don't want to be do the other. I can't obviously talk about everything, even though I'd love to. That's the omniscience allure of it, to know everything about everything and know. But let's see, we'll see. But because I really love doing it, and I hope you support me and share me, give me tips on how to improve and how to deprove. Because hey, perfection is a sin. I don't know what I'm rambling about. It's fun when you have another person to like bounce the energy off of, to like go back and forth to and fro. But I guess, but I'll try to carry this show like Johnny Depp carrying whatever shit he's carrying. So what else? What are some other I think we focus too much on the technical aspects. Every ball is scrutinized, and that's with the shitty commentators. Like can tell with the technical sounded commentators, they'll be like, "Oh, he bowled at this 30-degree angle at the perfect pitch, and it was a pull shot to fucking lost long stop and whatnot at a 90-degree angle," and it's like so bland and like so jejune and like so devoid of imagination. I mean, did you know? I don't want to talk about Hilbert's imagination. Just Google Hilbert's imagination story. So as the story goes, one of David Hilbert, this great mathematician, he said one of his students dropped out of class, and later he found out his student dropped out to pursue poetry. So and Hilbert just chuckled and shook his head and just said, "Too bad. He never quite had the imagination for mathematics." So yeah, so you actually need imagination and commentary, and instead of belaboring on those, the stoic, this formal, this geometrical representation, orthogonal projection of whatnot. And this is not by no means shitting on the commentators. It's actually and you need both, you need balance. And but some people over stress that, and that's another under stressing factor, the technique. We have focused too much on pitch conditions, coin toss, for fuck's sake. I mean, as a coin toss, you lose your fucking coin toss, you lose the whole fucking tournament. What the fuck world we living in? Pitch contest. That's again, I mean, if you're fucking Michael Jordan, you're not gonna, if you, that's like how insulting to him if you say, "Oh, what do you think, Michael Jordan? You don't have the home court advantage. What do you do?" "Oh, I don't know, I'm freaking out. What should I do?" Woo! And he breaks out in this fetal position in a fit of insult voice, like shrill tone and whatnot, croaking and creaking. Yeah. I mean, that's the insult mentality some of us have, where we like surrender to be like fucking beta cuck, whip with as a whipping boy with more able Wacket on our. I don't know what I'm talking about. Able Wacket. What the fuck is an able Wacket? It's a card game, I think. Yeah, like an Asian card game, like those British card game, I guess. Is it? Okay, but yeah. So you get. I don't know what I'm ranting about, anyways. So as I was saying, the technical aspect, yeah, because people like me who are not so good at analysis, we overanalyze it. Analyze it. I mean, like everything's broken down to this discrete parts of atoms, atomic particles of freaking muons and quarks. The flavors of quark. We actually lose the whole meaning of it. And so just don't focus too much on the technical aspect. Just let him grow. It's just like nurturing a flower orchid, or like I don't know. You just have to let it flourish on itself instead of like trying to fit him into this mold. And that's another thing. So tactical, as we feel that if we're not doing our leg spin in the wrong and in the right order with the perfect flick of wrist, somehow it just by flicking the wrist in certain abnormal, I mean, if you have to force Murali into doing what he didn't do, you don't have Murali. So we feel that this is what it should be. So as a coach and a team, and you shouldn't overdo it. And sometimes that actually works for you, because if for indisciplined Bangladeshi team, if you have those anal retentives, rigorous, those fucking helicopter parent like administration and management, sometimes and that's the constraint actually healthy for you, because it sometimes it can work for you. I think we are seeing this in Bangladesh team with so much investment, resources, and discipline. And we want to be the best of the best, and we want to be the model or model, the role model to look after. We don't want the Australias of the cricket world or Indias of the. We want to be play our own brand of cricket. So yeah, kudos. So it's again, it's a balance. Whatever works. PED, it may work against you. And again, meditation. Or not, for there's another story, creativity story. Roger von Ock wrote about it in his book, where this Olympic crew hired the spiritual guru or whatever, this meditation advisor consultant, to improve the game. And after the and this a rowing team, and somehow that would be a performance enhancements. What they found out, actually they did worse, not did worse, like they didn't win. And the reason that there was the performance wasn't there is because they were so motivated and like zen like and unison in rowing, so in such synchronicity, in this perfect like not perfect flow, but they lost the motivation, the will to succeed. And so and it backfired. Again, meditation is not for you. So whatever ritual works for you to get in the flow, one should adopt that. And as a coach and a team and a strategist, technician, that should be one of your tactic actually too, as a technician, to find out what gets the whole team. What like you want to be, you want to model it after if we have the Sri Lanka model of 1996, so the Richard Stoiner model, I guess. So like, or like Dave Watmore does. You want to be you want to be make the team buoyant, and like imbue them with infuse them with this, not enthusiasm, that's like a cliche and tried like cheerleading effect, but you want to have the best euthemic unit available, the possible, the team who's in real good state, flow of state, they don't have personal baggage to deal with, mental psychology or whatnot, or any physical injury. Obviously that's overstress part, and that should be so. But we understand the psychology aspect, or the mood, the event, the underlying, the other factions, the other things that are going behind the scenes and the shadows. So I think that's all for today. That's my rambling on cricket. I wish I could ramble on more, but I'm getting thirsty, so I'm gonna drink a 40. I'm gonna go whiskey, and I hit my crack pipe, and be like stutter my way into the and break the whole quarantine law. And did you know one girl got fucking busted for threatening to spread coronavirus, and he got threatened, charged with terrorism. Terror. Oh my god. And she's like what, 60, like probably high school. I don't know if she was a high schooler, but so people are so dumb nowadays.